Let's begin with the Succeeding at the Piano All-in-One Approach Preparatory Book A. Here's the cover. I really want you to know that there are 6 composers who have written for Succeeding at the Piano. They are Timothy Brown, Kevin Costley, Kevin Olson, Mary Leaf, Ed McLean, and Valerie Roth-Robos. And there also is a 7th composer, and that's me. So we have a wonderful group of different personalities and styles. And this is a real plus for Succeeding at the Piano because the music is so motivational for our students. They hear a huge variety of classical, folk songs, originals, jazz pieces, some little popular pieces, and in these works, our students can certainly get used to hearing a whole group of different personalities. There was actually a composer and well-known method writer from the classical era, Daniel Gottlob Türk, T-U with the umlaut over the U, R-K. And he wrote his own piano method, and he said, yes, it's good to use my own piano method, but for your students to be really well-rounded, they should be playing pieces from other composers, because only then will they really understand what music is all about. So that's what gave me the idea of using multiple composers for the piano method. And I always want to give credit where credit is due. So you'll notice at the beginning of every one of the Succeeding at the Piano books, it has a list of composers and arrangers, and it shows you who wrote the pieces, who wrote the lyrics, and who wrote the duet parts. So this is perfect for your student recitals. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about technique in the preparatory levels. We must start with excellent sense of technique. So you'll notice that on the very first page of technique, on page 4, the girl is sitting tall and long. And you'll notice that a daisy is growing through her spine, through her neck, and out the top of her head. And in this way, students feel well balanced and in control. We want to make sure that their legs and their torso forms a tripod when they sit at the instrument. Obviously, if they cannot reach the very bottom of the floor, we have to have a nice little extender there for them. And if they are too small for the bench and the distance from the keyboard, we can certainly use a nice little pad underneath their bum so that they can feel comfortable and be at the right height and distance of the keyboard. The next thing to remember is how the student should look with distance and height from the keyboard. So for the distance, we want to make sure that when the students bring their hands up and puts their 3 fingers, longest fingers on the black keys, and then goes ahead and put their 5th finger and their thumbs on the white keys, on the E and the B, they can see that their elbow is slightly in front of their body. And they also should be able to swing side to side like this in pure comfort. The elbow tip should be on the top part of the white keys. We must remember that. This particular way of learning the distance and the height from the keys is a beautiful way for students to look when they when they sit down at any keyboard to see how comfortable they are. All right, so now the next particular page, on page 5, is perfect piano hands. We can certainly have our students cup their hand around their elbows like this and bring out their hands like this. And when they bring their hands up to eye level, we say, can you see the 4 little knuckles on each hand? I call them 4 little hills on each hand. And the young students love the idea of the image of the 4 little hills. Then I ask them, what letter does this does this show between fingers 1 and 2? And all of our students could easily say, that looks like a C. So already we are teaching them healthy technique from the very beginning. We don't want them to close up their fingers like this, because this is already adding tension to the body. It's adding tension through the wrist as well as the tendons underneath the wrist. So there is no need to do anything in the playing apparatus that makes a student uncomfortable. This particular method is all about healthy, coordinated technique, body-friendly technique. So you will hear that message throughout when I demonstrate the piano method. Okay, then the next part of the piano method is all about finger numbers. So we will certainly enjoy with our students wiggling different fingers and tapping different fingers with other fingers from the other hand. So they could tap finger 3 with the right hand, with finger 1 in the left hand, and then they could say, I'd like for us to tap finger 2 in the left hand with finger 4 in the right hand. And we all know that this is pretty challenging for a beginner student to do, but after a while, they have it just fine.